how to use a try catch block, and what is the use of finally block in handling exceptions. Okay, what is exception? Exception is a unforeseen event, in programming. So there is an unexpected issue which occurs in a program execution. So as a developer, we need to handle exceptions. That's why we call exception handling. We handle exceptions using a catch block. So how to find exceptions in a program? We use a try block to catch exceptions. How many type of exceptions are there in Java? We have checked and unchecked exceptions and defined exceptions. What are the Java defined exceptions? There are different type of exceptions: arithmetic exceptions and null pointer exceptions, array index out of bounds exceptions, format exceptions, string index out of bound exceptions. And coming to Selenium, we have an exception called no such element found exceptions. So there are wide variety of exceptions we come across while executing our programs. How do we handle? We can handle exceptions by using the catch block. Try catch exception and another catch exception and finally. So what is finally? If you want to close any open connections, like closing a file which we have opened during a programming, and you want to close a database connection after using the database, these kind of activities you have to perform. So these can be done using a finally block. Finally block gets executed irrespective of the exception, whether exception may arise, may not arise, but finally block get executed. Okay, so this is all about exception type, and we have seen already with the examples. Okay, coming to file input output stream, how to handle files. Okay, how to handle files, file input output operations. We can create a file, we can read a file, write a file, append a file, and delete a file. So these are the major operations we do. Okay, but these are all our advanced topics actually, but you don't need to use all these operations in testing, but I'm just going to explain how to handle files. We can create a file, we can read a file, we can write a file, append a file, delete a file. What is a read a file? You know how to create a file. Okay, to create a file or read, write, append, or delete, first of all we have a file. There should be a file to perform these operations. Hence, there is a class called file. To read or write, there are two classes. These classes are very helpful to read and write files. For write, we have a file output stream. And to read a file input stream. And for append, we have a append file. Okay, we have a to delete, we have delete actually. File dot delete. So these are the various operations you can perform using Java file input output operations. Create a file, read file, write file, append file, and delete a file. Okay, how to create a file? Let's see how to create a file. Yeah, create a file we have seen already. Let's see now how to read and write a file. Okay, where is read and write? Read. So this is how we can create a file. First of all, we should have a file. To create a file, we have to define an object called file. File equals to new file, and check whether we are able to create a file or not. If you are able to create a file, it simply say yes, we are able to create a file. Otherwise, it simply throw an error saying that we are not able to create a text file. I think we have already seen this file. Just go to C drive and file input output. C drive, file input output. Yes, these are the files we have created. My file create.txt is not yet created, I think. Okay, let me create. I click run as Java application. Okay, so we are able to create a file. That means new file gets created. File txt, file create.txt, file gets created. Okay, after that, how to delete a file? So this is a delete file. You can delete a file by using a delete. So very simple. There's a method called create a new file. To create a file, and to delete, we have a simply delete method. Is that it simply deletes the file. File create.txt. So the file create.txt file gets created. Run as Java application. Yes, we are able to delete a file. Yes, file gets deleted. Okay. See, to delete, actually, first of all, file should be there. So these things we have to handle it. If it is not there, it simply say the file input output exception has arisen. Okay, just right click and run once again. Run as Java application. Okay, we are not able to delete a file because the file itself is not there. That's why file should be there, then only it will handle. Otherwise, it can't delete a file. Okay, so this is how we have to create a file and delete a file. Then coming to how to read and write a file. Okay, first let's see how to write a file. How to write a file? So look at the scripts. We need to import certain packages called for Java input output file, Java input output file, input stream, and input output exception. As I told you, to write we need a file output stream. See here, file output stream fys equals to null initially, and then file we have created an object for class called file. After that, there is a content. So I have to write the content, right? That's why I've just taken the content in a string. After that, see, please observe this difference. If you directly create a file in a C drive without using any subfolder, see Java file output, this is a subfolder. If you don't use, actually you will get access denied error because C drive is not a, okay, what you call, there will be a lot of restrictions on C drive in many laptops. Hence, we can't create a file directly in a C drive. My advice for you is please use either D drive or you can go to your user profile. Go to users and you find out your username. Under username, only you have to create a file. But I'm able to create under subfolders of C drive. So that's why I just used Java file input output and file.txt. This is a file I'm just going to, okay, read. Read means I'm just going to add it at the date. Date, actually, I can simply say today's date, 26 June 21. Okay, at 7:50. Right. Okay. So look at the logic. This logic is very simple. Logic is very simple. See, yeah, just give me 1 minute to connect the charger. Yeah. Yeah, here you can see the file and string content. This is the content I just want to write. Okay, write means just adding. Reading means you are fetching the data from file. Okay. First of all, we need to check file is existed or not. If the file is doesn't exist, we have to create a new file. Okay. Otherwise, you can simply say my file writes. .txt. File dot create new file, and then this is a file name. See, we are just creating a file. Actually, this is for writing, and this is for reading. File input stream, file output stream. See, one more thing you need to understand. Always the data while handling files in Java, you should always convert the data into bytes. That's why I have used a byte, and it is array type called bytes array. After that, there is a content, right? This is a string. I'm just converting this content into bytes. After converting the content or strings into bytes, then you can write the data. See, fys.write, very simple method called fys.write. Then what is the use of file output stream? First of all, you have to give a proper permissions to read or write the data. It's a kind of permissions to be granted to read or write the data into a file. File output stream. After that, we just writing the data into a file and then flash and then a system.out.println file created and content written successfully. File created. Okay. So finally, what you have to do? Look at here. In a finally block, we are just closing the file. This is what you do ideally. This is the purpose of finally block in exceptions. Okay. So let's quickly run this program. Run as Java application. Okay. File created and content written successfully. File created and content written successfully. Where is the file actually now? This is file in output subfolder. See, my file for write. Look at here. This is the data which we have written. This is the data which we have written. Okay. Clear? Is it clear? So coming to write, how we are going to write a file. Okay. So sorry, how to read a file. This is writing. Writing is over. This is write file, and I'm going to create a one more file for read. Okay, how to read a file? Tell me. We need help of two classes. One is a file input stream, another one is a buffered input stream. Either you can use a file input stream or you can also use a buffered input stream. To read a file, first of all, we need a file with data. Otherwise, we can't read the data, right? So we have to create a file instance by providing the full path of the file name. After that, you have to pass the file instance to the file input stream. We have to pass the file instance. See, this is a file instance. And where we are passing into file output stream here. But for read the data, we need to create a file input stream and then pass the file instance. File instance. Okay. So pass the file instance to the file output stream, file output stream and file input stream, and which opens the connection to a actual file. Basically, it opens the connection to the actual file. Okay. So after that, what do you have to do? We have to pass the file input stream instance to the buffered input stream, which creates a buffered input stream and save its arguments. Okay. In input stream, what happened later actually, we can use the internal buffer array, which is automatically gets created and store the entire data into a buffered array. And then we can read the data through program. Okay. We can also use a while loop to read the file. And there is a method called available, which is used for checking the end of the file. Okay. If the available method returns 0, that means the pointer reaches to the end. Otherwise, there is still a data in a file input stream. Clear? How many methods are useful for to read the data? To read the data from the file, we need a file input stream, and then we need a method called available to check whether the data is still present in the file or not. And to store the data, we use a buffered input stream. Buffered input stream. Buffered input stream. Okay. So these are the methods we use for a read file. Clear? So file is to create a file. If it is not there, file input stream to grant a permissions or access rights to the file to read the data. Available to check whether the data is still present in the file or not. And buffered input stream is used to access the data and print in a runtime. Okay, let's create quickly a simple demo, very simple demo. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What we need to import actually? Okay, import all these files. Import all these packages. Packages are required to handle files. So I'm just importing. Ctrl C. Go to read file demo. Okay, done. So what next now? Okay, we have main method. Specify the file path to read. We have already some data in the file. I'm just going to read it actually. So go to write file. So this is a file which we have created, right? So I'm just taking this file. Done. Okay. File, new file of my file write.txt. Just now we have added the data. We have written data to the file. Okay. After that, now initially the values of buffered input stream and file input stream should be null. And so I'm just creating buffered input stream. Okay. Buffered input stream equals to null. Okay. And then file input stream equals to null. Just give me a second. I have to. Hello. Hello. Yes, speaking. Tell me. Yes, of course. Can you tell me your email ID? I will pass the details. And is it your WhatsApp number? Okay. Because currently I'm in session, morning sessions are there running. So once the session is over, I will share the details. So this is my WhatsApp number. Okay. Send your details and what is your requirement. Actually, you are looking for mobile application testing, right? Okay. Sorry, I got a call. I had to take that call. Yeah. Buffered input stream and file input stream. Yeah, we have to make both the objects as null initially. Initially, we have to make both the objects as null. Okay. We had to import a class package. Actually, I'm just importing a buffered input stream java.io. Done. Okay. What next? So we have created a file input stream to read the file and pass the file input stream to a buffered input stream. So you have to pass the file object to a buffered input stream. Okay, bis equals to new, okay, buffered input stream, Ctrl C, Ctrl V of file. So that means we are just converting this entire file into a buffered input stream. Okay, so sorry, file input stream, FIS. Okay, so so before that, what you have to do, file input stream object has to be created. FIS equals to new, okay, file input stream of file, Ctrl C, Ctrl V of file. That's all. Very simple. Logic is very simple. So what is there? Okay, we need to add a try catch block. Okay, fine, no problem. Add throws input output exception. File not found exception gets added. It's okay. Otherwise, you have to add manually. Okay, you have to use try block and you have to add it. Okay, so file input stream of file, and then we are just created a BAS buffered input stream and pass the instance of file input stream to the buffered input stream. So why we are passing? We have to pass the file input stream to the buffered input stream for fast reading using a buffered array. Otherwise, it takes a lot of time to read the data. Okay, and check available method. Okay, check available method. So we are using a while loop, while, okay, of bis dot available. Okay, greater than zero. Greater than zero. Okay. So what it means, actually, we are checking whether the data still available in the file or not. Okay. So surround by catch block, try catch block. I use it actually. That's better. Okay. Yeah. So BAS is available or not. If it is available, okay, the specified file not found. If it is not available. Okay. So we have to read the data in the while loop. Simply put system dot out dot println of okay, character. We are converting into characters. After that, bis dot read. Okay, this is a method to read the data. Okay, and colon. That's it. We are reading a data. So look at here. We are just converting into a character type, because this is nothing but a boxing and unboxing. We are just boxing. That means whether it has a numerical value or not, that doesn't matter. Whatever the data it is reading, it should be converted into character type. Character of base dot read. Okay, we just keep on reading each and every letter, each and every character. Okay. After that, we have a catch block. Inside a catch block, actually, we can simply say the specified file not found. If you have any exception, okay, there's another exception I'm just adding. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay. Instead of input output exception, I'm just adding file not found exception. File not found exception. Whatever. Okay, you have to delete this actually. It's not required to delete this. File not found exception. Is there any error actually? File not found exception. Oh, we have to give a different name. Okay, file not Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Still get an error. Remove try catch class. So I think this is a parent object. That's why it is asking to remove. Okay, if it is already handled by the catch block for exception, yes. Fine, let it be. Ctrl C. Adjusting. Okay. Okay. File not found, and then input output exception is over, and then finally we have to add one more thing that is called finally. Okay, inside finally, what you are going to do, we are again using a try block. Try. Okay, if buffered input stream not equals to null and file input stream not equals to null, buffered input stream not equals to null and file input stream not equals to null, then we have to close it actually. File not close. Okay, start close. We are just closing. I told you already, finally block is used to close all the connections. We are just closing all these connections. Okay, BS cannot be resolved by BS. Okay, no problem. Catch. Okay, this is again input output exception. Okay, and then system dot out dot println of. Okay, error input string close. Error in closing okay files. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, why you are getting an error? Basically, I'm just checking why you are getting these errors. So BIS cannot be resolved to a variable. Create a local variable. Yeah, it's a comes under local only. Try. So I think we had to add all these files at the beginning. Yes. Okay. Check. Yeah. Because if you add the variables inside try, these variables will become local to the try block. We can't use in another try block. That's why I'm just adding all these variables here. Okay. So I'm just deleting it. It's not required now. Delete. Okay. Now look at here. We have created a file object, and then we have also created a file object for buffered input stream. I have created another variable called file input stream. Three variables we have created, and then try block. Inside a try block, we have file input stream, buffered input stream, and check okay, buffered input stream is available or not. That means to check whether the data is present or not. If it is there, then it have to keep on reading the data. Buffered input stream should be greater than 0. Then that means the pointer found there is still data. It's keep on reading and printing the data in file input stream. Okay, and then finally you make sometimes if the file does not exist, we get an exception. That's why we're using file input output exception. Okay, file not found exception anyway we have added at the class level. And then finally block closes all the files. File input stream and buffered input stream gets closed, and then finally catch block system.out.println of error in a closing files. Okay, so we are clear about how to read a file. Run as. Now what is the data inside actually? My file write.txt contains what? So this is the data it contains. Okay, so it simply read the data to the console. That's it. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, so look at here. So this is how it will write the data. Okay, this is the content of writing into the file. Okay, 22nd June and so on. See, this is how it will print. Is it clear? Yeah. Yes, no, no, yes. Okay. So this is how we have to read the data, writing data and reading the data, and creating the file and deleting the file. Okay, appending the file. This is also very, very important. Let me show you. Okay, read and write, and it should be appended now. Okay. Yeah. So how to append? Nothing. We have already content. We are just appending the data into the existing file. Okay. So this is the content which would be appended at the end of the specified file. So what is the file which we have created actually? My file append is not there. I'm just going to use my file write. My file write. Okay, I'm just copying it actually. If it is not there, it will create automatically. That also it does. See, file is checked. It checks the file is there or not. If it is not there, it will create a new file. After that, append the data. After that, append the data. Anyway, just try it. Just run it as a Java. Then click Java application. See, data successfully appended at the end of the file. Let's check here. See, file appended has been created, and this is the data. So now I'm just going to change one more string. One more string. I'm just going to change it actually. Ctrl C. Okay. And I'm just going to comment this section now. Commented. So this is my latest content. Okay. With the date, I'm just mentioning the date actually. So 22nd June 21st. Now I'm just trying to add now. Run once again. Just get added at the end of the data. Run as okay. So Java application. See and add. See, look at here. This is the latest content which would be appended at the end of the specified. This is how we have to append a file. You can keep on append the files to the existing data. Is it clear? So we have discussed so far how to create a file, how to delete a file, how to read a file, how to write a file, how to append a file. These are the major and primary operations we perform using a file input or output operations using Java.